is Snaily Snail. I am in the process of looking for a new home, and in our new home, we will be needing new furniture. So today I thought we would look at some furniture together so you could help me decide. So first I thought we'd look at some bar stools. I was talking to the whale and he said he's traumatized from the dining room table. Ever since that, he's just like, let's just find a place with an island and then throw some bar stools on there. So the first one we have is from West Elm. I find that West Elm is kind of hit or miss. I think it's fine because I really like having that one part where you can like rest your foot on there if it's like a really high bar stool. This is the second option, which is the Leo from Room and Board. It swivels, and that's what I really like. Yeah, I think this would work, especially if it's like different heights. And then I was thinking you could tuck it in at the end underneath the table so that way it doesn't really get in the way. Next, let's look at couches. So the first one that I have is the Burrow. So this is what I was thinking. I wanted a leather one because fabric gets dirty. It'd be a lot easier to clean. For the arm style, I chose the slope because if you look at this rectangular one, my problem is that right here where the corners are, you would end up having a lot of like rub, and those corners would wear out a lot quicker. So that's why I decided not to go for that one. But I also didn't like the arch because I just find those really uncomfortable because you just have like this really high arm and you're just like, I find it really hard to relax because that's what the living room's for. And then I decided to add the bolster pillows for comfort and the movable shades so you can just move it to each section. That way you can actually like kind of recline without an actual recliner. I think my problem with recliners is that I feel like you never leave the recliner. They did mention that it was going to patina. So patina means that the leather is getting darker. The thing I don't like about patina is that it shows age. And I want my home to look as pristine as it possibly can for a long time. Okay, so next we have the Hay Arbor sofa. Even the video that they had, it really looked like a bunk bed in the beginning, and then they really just threw on some cushions. This seat height is 15.75, so it's a little lower. I am afraid of this middle section sinking in, so I think I might pass on this one. Okay, next is the Noah sectional. I saw that this one had spill-proof material, so I was really interested. Whale was telling me about how he wanted fabric because it's cheaper, but I want leather. We've had 2 pizza grease incidents already, and then a couple salsa stains. So I do like that you can remove it, but if it were a leather couch, it's so much easier to just wipe it off, right? I think I'll pass on this one. Next is the Room and Board one. So after I chose all the fade resistance, performance, like stain repellent fabrics, the colors are kind of off, but I don't know, maybe I have to see it in person. Like this one, the amethyst color, I felt like it's a little bit too pink. I know we're not going to go with green, and red is just like too bold for us. The gray, I feel like is a little light, but then the otter color, it is too like poop looking. Maybe I'm like too nitpicky. The only color I would like is maybe like an indigo or the royal, but I think I need to see these in person. We don't really have a set budget on the furniture yet. The restoration hardware in Chicago, for some reason, they're just the longest lines ever. Like every single time I go there are people waiting before it opens. It used to be a museum, and I guess restoration hardware just like moved in. But I did like this Italia Chesterfield oak base sofa collection. Because it's fabric, I don't know if it's gonna last that long. And then I know for a fact that I don't want these U sectionals because it's gonna block the view of the TV. Oh wait, it's available in leather. You can't preview any of the leathers, so you don't really know what the color is gonna look like. Next, let's look at some benches. So I'm looking at benches because it's just really awkward when you're going to someone's home and it takes you like 5 years to take off your shoes. So I thought it would be nice to have just a bench so you could actually sit down and take the time to take off your shoes and all that. So this one is the Alto bench. This one is the 153B. They have 153A. It's just like the length is different. And I like that they include the shipping costs. So because this is an overseas place, after $3,000, you have to pay customs. I feel like honestly, the bench doesn't even have to be that comfortable because you're not going to be on it for a long time. And then this next bench that he picked out, I'm not a big fan because for me it reminds me of like two rubber bands being thrown together. The designer's probably like, I spent 15 years on this girl saying like it's two rubber bands. I just feel like over time these bands will kind of start being like too slinky. Your butt's just gonna fall through the opening. And next, this was a storage bench that I was looking at. I like that you could sit on it, but then in the wintertime, you could maybe store your gloves, your scarves. This last one, I'm iffy about it. I think I like my benches to be symmetrical, and this one just has this random like armrest on there. I don't know, but then they kind of treat this like a table. Originally, I was looking at some bench ideas, and then some kid furniture showed up. Please always look at the dimensions when you're shopping for furniture. The whale bought a bookcase one time. It looked like a regular 4x4 bookcase. He didn't look at any of the dimensions, but when it came, this bookcase was massive. Our entire door was just blocked off by all the parts because you had to assemble it. And then I was just like, okay. So I shuffled around it to get up, and I was just like, you're dealing with this. And then when we started assembling it, that's when I noticed it was the size of the room. So I ended up like cutting our room in half because that's how tall it was. And then it was like 300 pounds. So please look at the dimensions. For the bench, I'm sort of like, whatever, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not going to be sitting on there for long, but you don't want to accidentally buy kid furniture. Initially, I was looking, and then I noticed, there's a child model in the photo. And the last piece of furniture that we're thinking about buying is for a sitting area. The whale wants to buy all from the same brand as the couch, just so everything's like matchy-matchy. But honestly, it doesn't matter because it's going to be in a separate room. This is from Burrow, which is the same brand as the couch that we saw. This is the Hay, about a lounge 92 armchair with a high back. I initially wanted this ball chair in white. It would have been really cool, I think. Maybe slightly uncomfortable because it does look like the seat is really low. But he was like, girl, this is ridiculous. It's like $7,000. And he was like, it's not even an Eames. So this is the chair that he really wants. He really likes Herman Miller. I don't know if I'm like completely sold on the Eames chair. I know I won't be the one who's sitting in this chair the most. And I'm afraid that it's just going to end up being a chair that's just there, right? And I paid $6,000. Well, it depends on like what you choose. So I was like, okay, well, if we do go with Herman Miller, and thankfully we have a Herman Miller store in Chicago, so I could always go in and try it out.
Samoa, full grain. Both of these I feel like we should grab onto more of this MCL leather.
Yeah. There's the Striad lounge chair, and this one I think is a much more reasonable price, and it has leather options. Yes, I know $5,000 is not reasonable. It's still cheaper than $6,000, but I think I would probably need to go in store to figure out like what kind of back height I would want. I'd probably go with black on black with the 4-star swivel. Because the wire freaked me out when I first saw it. I was just like, oh, I don't know, it looks like a bunch of spider webs.
Fabric, just to let you know, this is clay. So
I was thinking about getting in leather.
Leather is really good for this.
There's this womb chair. It's not that bad. I can see my clumsy ass tripping over these little legs. So that's why I'm like, maybe.
Variety of different materials, and the colors are pretty enticing. So
next is the egg chair. And this, I guess, will like encase you a little bit. So those are the furniture pieces that I'm looking at right now. Let me know which ones were your favorite. I think we've been looking at furniture for a very long time. I think even when we moved into this home, it was a pain in the butt. So we ended up just buying the entire set from Crate and Barrel. And what I do like about Crate and Barrel is that all their stuff comes pre-assembled. But for the price that we paid for some of the things, I felt like it wasn't quite worth it, or the value wasn't there. Let me know if you have any suggestions, because there really aren't too many good furniture places that I know of. I feel like quality has been going down for a lot of them because they have to compete with IKEA. Even the IKEA couches are $2,500, and I haven't read too many reviews on most of them. So if you have some good places to look at for furniture, I would love to hear them. There's just one grandma that I always run into, and she will always tell me her tips and tricks. So she told me to check out the Dump. It's where all the unsold furniture goes, and it's usually at a really deep discount. The problem with that place is that most of the time it's not really our style. Like, some of the furniture just reminds me of like a old man enjoying whiskey. And that's not quite the vibe I'm going for my home. But, I'm open to suggestions. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Yo, it's really hard being an adult, okay? You have to worry about these things, like how long will your furniture last? Are you going to live there for a really long time?